Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.
You gotta wait till it fades out.
I know.
You know, for dramatic effect.
And we're live.
What's going on, everybody?
We're back. What's going on, everyone?
My name's going to be in this intro.
Brian, what's up? So yeah, Brian here. He said he brought 15. Love the intro rap. Thank you. It's Peter Z killing it for us.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, while you're here and you got 15 minutes to spare, please, anything you want to talk about in the chat real quick, let us know, and we'll dive into it. But
First dibs on Q&A.
yeah, seriously, he does. He's first come, first serve, sir. Well, we were just talking in the pre-show, basically, and just talking about how well done the first two episodes have been, and the overall outlook for this series, the show is blown up. I think it's bigger than anything I thought it was going to become, because off of a video game, not everybody plays video games, but this is quickly becoming one of those cult classic things. Like, it's going to be people are going to attach to it. People from the Walking Dead genre, people from the horror genre, people are going to just, who don't know anything about it, are going to attach to it because it's that good right off the bat. And
it's breaking the adaptation curse.
Yeah.
A couple, like Sonic, the adaptation was great, but then we have the original Super Mario movie, which we all know that tanked. So this is like really just taking off, and I'm so excited that people who have never experienced it, like Renee, for example, you've never would have played the game, so I'm so glad that now this is something you get to experience.
And it's amazing to me. I was telling my family at dinner, I'm like, it's kicking The Walking Dead's butt. I mean, Walking Dead's my favorite show in the world, but man, I tell you what,
they had the second largest viewing in HBO's history, I think. It was Game of Thrones, and they're number 2
with 10 million.
Yeah, how amazing! Like, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and like I even said, I said, could you imagine what The Walking Dead could have been on a platform like HBO?
Absolutely.
It would have blown our minds away. I think like this is blowing our minds, because besides of course HBO having to put a gratuitous nude scene in an episode. I mean, what would HBO be without a naked? Yeah, what would HBO be without a naked woman somewhere? So like, it was just like, well, okay, this is gonna happen. All right. I guess it's TV 14 or whatever it is.
It's like Game of Thrones. Look, there's tits for 5 minutes. Great, there we go. All right.
Way to warm up, everybody. Good job.
I gotta say though, after 11 years of watching The Walking Dead, even though I got into it like much later, The Last of Us is scarier than any villain that Walking Dead has ever had, times 2.
Yeah, so Brian's saying, fact about HBO, they turned down The Walking Dead because they thought it was going to be too violent, which is just beyond me.
Well, I think that once they saw the success of The Walking Dead, they're probably kicking themselves going, shit. Especially now that we are going towards a streaming service where it's a lot easier to control your kids as far as what they can and cannot watch.
Right.
Because my nephews, I have on Netflix and things like that, I have their own profiles, but they're kids' profiles. And so it does control it. But if it's on cable TV, how do you control that?
Brian goes, they had The Sopranos.
That's a good point. Yeah. I always forget that's HBO.
it was violent, it wasn't horror. So,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
people getting shot in the head all over the place on that, murdered in a car.
Streaming and kind of like what Ryan was saying, like, just television in general has changed so much in the past decade that it's a little more accepting.
Yeah. I mean, look at TV 12 years ago when The Walking Dead started, and now. I mean, 12 years ago, streaming services weren't a thing.
Except for Netflix.
You know, and Netflix was in its infant stages and was still a hybrid of DVD and streaming. It was still getting its feet. And so now you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
1,010%. And nudity. Yeah.
So yeah, let's open up this book of worms right now and dive in.
You mean open up the chicken sandwich?
Yeah, open up chicken sandwich. Wow, such a funny scene, man. So funny. And they with Bella, they've been able to like really with her being Ellie and stuff and her character, her being able to like keep it light, I guess. You know, like she's got like that little. She has that sarcastic, little smart ass kind of thing about her. It'll make you giggle. Yeah, it'll make you giggle a little bit right before you shit your pants. You know what I mean? Well, she didn't shit her pants, but
that's true. That's
true.
I think I loved it too. Just from a general sense, I loved the jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're getting a little ahead, but that just, I mean, I'm a huge horror fan.
Sure.
So for me, the jump scares are perfect because I'm used to like Sam Raimi, right? I mean, like, people didn't think that he'd do a good job with Multiverse of Madness, right? But then you watch and there's all these jump scares and all these horror elements, and I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we came from The Walking Dead that kind of had that in the beginning, really got heavily away from it, and now we have this, and I'm just like, my heart is happy. My heart is full.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to Sundays again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I rewatch it 3 times on Monday.
And I just want to say, I think Sundays was
Yeah, I'm sad.
I'm sorry, Meg, what were you saying?
I haven't had a chance to rewatch it yet.
Oh.
I'm sad.
Mm,
I'm gonna try to do it this week because I'm already missing it.
Yeah. I think that it was a very smart move on HBO's part on making it Sundays, and I don't think that was unintentional. I think that was very deliberate.
Right at that 9 p.m. time slot.
yeah,
Because people are already used to it.
Yeah.
true.
That's very easy segue.
It's a good point.
Great way
Well,
to
and
end
also
the week.
like Yellowstone too comes out at 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not on right now, so it's a not that they're the same genre, but it just means people are like Sunday nights at 9. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, so Brian's saying, was Amir did the scene when Ellie went up to the desk and rang the bell and went ding ding? Did that remind you of the scene in Fear the Walking Dead with Madison and Victor in the hotel?
No, but now it does.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now that you said it.
Honestly, yeah, it didn't even cross my mind, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. And like those are like the innocent things that I was talking about. Her portraying a child in this world, not experiencing these type of things or not knowing what these types of things are.
It's fun to see it through her eyes, fresh in her eyes. But we're seeing it too, or at least those that haven't gamed, and we are seeing it through her eyes, actually, for the first time.
Well, that hotel scene was taken straight from the game.
That's the I wanted to ask.
Yeah, except in the game, the skeleton didn't pop out.
Okay.
It wasn't like, how he said you're a weird kid. Yeah, he didn't say you're a weird kid back at him. That whole scene with moving like the luggage thing, that wasn't part of it.
Okay.
But it was cool to see that, and like when they were after they crossed like the makeshift bridge, and like, well, is it everything you imagine? Straight to the game. And
That's
it was
cool.
just like word for word. And then the downside of the the final parts of the episode, that was tweaked but yet the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of verbatim right out of the game.
I think it's very cool that it does seem like they're staying very true to the source material, but they are twisting it a little bit. Like in the first episode, we saw the car, right? The car that was coming right at them in the game, it hits them.
Yeah.
But in the episode, it didn't. It was something else that caused the car.
I think
to
it was
flip.
a bomb or rocket or something came flying down the road.
The plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it was the wheel. This is what I think it was, at least. When
It
the
happened
plane
quick.
crashed, the wheel of the plane that like hit the car.
Mm-hmm. I saw like one of the turbines had gone flying off the plane also, and I think it went flying past the truck. So I don't think it was a.
Yeah, because that looked too big.
It did.
Truck.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking it might have been the wheel, because it wasn't a huge plane.
Yeah.
Hello, Becky. Thanks for checking in. What's going on? So I know that. So I was actually talking to Brian earlier on Facebook, and we were both talking about how we were really enjoying the way they're opening the show and giving you back history.
Yeah.
And this is why it's great for people who never played the game or even knew or don't know anything about this in general, and are just hopping on to see what it's about. They do such an exceptional job of giving you the information to bring you along. You know, and I thought like it was this episode opens up, they're in Jakarta, and you know, it all plays out. They bring in the scientist, the doctor. She, you know, basically tells them, you know, cordyceps can't, you know, be used or like you can't survive with a human body or whatever. And then she goes and examines the dead female's body. And I gotta say, like, one of the first scare moments for me was when she opened up the woman's mouth. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know she has a bullet hole in her head, but is she about to rip her fingers apart right now? Like, she like literally you're putting your fingers in this person's mouth. And, you know, I was just waiting for her to get like just wake up, her eyes, you know, flare open and just rip her hands off.
Yeah. I loved where she was like, "Is that a bite mark?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was just like, "Oh, chills!" Like that, like that, just like that moment of her realizing, like, shit, that's how it's transmitted.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing like the pus underneath the skin.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like cauliflower a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because they touch on the fact that the breakout in Jakarta started 9/24/2003. So 2 days. It took 2 days because the outbreak started in the States on the 26th. 9/26. Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish because I have something to kind of counter that.
Yeah, and so it took 2 days, and they're saying there was 14 people missing from this, I guess, you know, wherever this breakout happened in Jakarta. But yeah, so I was, you know, 2 days later, I was like, this thing is a super spreader. Like, it just like wildfire. So go ahead, Meg.
The thing is, though, even though I totally get what you're saying with 2 days, because it is indeed a super spreader. However, the flour and the wheat or whatever that got transported to America, we don't know how long it had been on the shelf.
Right.
Because it's not like it takes 2 days. It's not like it gets to America within 24 hours.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah,
it takes time to get it on the shelves and make the food. So it had been there for a little bit. It's kind of like with COVID. It slowly spread into America.
A little fun fact about Jakarta, though, it's the world's largest flour mill producer. So they have like the largest flour mill in the world. So
don't buy flour.
Yeah, and then another little Google thing that if you decide to go and check, this is how excellent these people have been in putting this show together. 2003, the reason why they used 2003, it was the world's hottest year recorded. 20% hotter in 2003 than it has been. That's why they chose 2003. The world itself was, the world itself in general was 20 degrees higher than average in that 1 year.
And they did talk about in the first episode that it had to be very specific conditions for this
How crazy
to happen.
is that? That's how well this is being done.
But that's not what I get.
No,
probably effect, but the creators didn't say that.
No, it's not. No. The creator's gonna say this, like, but like if you go and like do like research on this and stuff like that, 2003, like the reason why like 2003 makes sense is because that was.
No, I get that. I'm just saying that's not like the creators did it because of other reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you were saying. So I was like, that's what they said. I read on their podcast. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what they said.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's just crazy that would.
Yeah.
That.
It's just a lot of stuff that's been done and being used is like crazy to me. So,
and I do love. I didn't say this last week, but I do love the opening scene of The Last of Us, like the like the opening credits, it reminds me of that signature HBO Game of Thrones esque intro, and they put their own Last of Us spin on it, and I actually think it's really well done.
Yeah, well, they have like the fungus growing up, and it forms into like almost like a city backdrop, kind of thing.
A lot of times I just skip the thing, but I've been watching. I just like to watch it because it's so cool.
Yeah.
Aww.
She was scratching at my legs. I thought
I want to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
you know, she'll do this, and then I'll pick her up, and then she gets like this, where it's like, leave me alone. Okay. Everybody say hi to Zoe.
Hi, Zoe. That's why I had to get up. I had to tell Rudy to go lay down.
Usually she's in her bed, but sometimes when I'm on the computer, she'll just like come over. Like, all right, go to bed now. Go play. All right, go. Vamos.
I think one of the most, as far as like a powerful moment early on, was when they're sitting down talking about, you know, he's asking her about vaccines, medicine. You know, we need you to start doing this.
There are none.
And she literally says, there is no vaccine. There is no medicine.
Yeah, and when she said bomb,
yeah.
Brian was just talking about that too, when she said it, and she's like, I gotta go see my family.
Yeah. I mean,
and imagine that they're in Boston, right? Like, not them, they're in Jakarta, but like Joel and all them are in Boston, right? And they're walking through, and you see an impact crater. And I think Ellie asked, like, she's like, what is that? And
she's like, what is this, the crater of the moon?
Yeah. And he was like, it worked here, but not in other places.
Right.
So I think you're going to come to find out that whoever this guy is, this military leader, he's going to go back to like the United Nations and be like, we need to bomb the spread. We need to stop it from spread. This is what the expert is saying. And clearly it translated to the United States somehow.
Yeah.
And so that is a very, like, you could see it as like a passing comment, but it's going to have very significant ramifications of how this was addressed or attempted to be addressed on a global scale. And like when she said it had to be bombed, I had chills. I was like, oh my God, like that, like imagine being the one person in the world to say the only way to unfuck ourselves is to blow up our cities.
Yeah.
The world.
Well, that's the thing.
She says that to him.
Yeah.
And he, you know, knowing that she's the expert, you know, he's like, that's in his brain, that's there. Regardless of what anyone says from this point going forward, he is like, this is what she said.
Yeah.
We have to do this. And so it's kind of like, it's, you know, where it's not going to stop from there. Like you said, then it's going to carry over to the other countries and whatever else. So yeah, that was just so crazy.
Yeah, they've done, as far as the backdrop goes, the cinematography, everything has been spot on, amazing. So
the writing, everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know a lot of it was green screen because obviously it has to be. It is so well done.
Yeah.
Like, even Marvel movies don't look this good.
Yeah.
Like, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Like, not even speaking about budget. This is, like, skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I applaud those editors, those, you know, graphics artists. I applaud all of them. They are doing such a phenomenal job.
Yeah. I know that scene we talked about in the pre-show about how when she was sleeping and they come down, you know, and it's like, it was like a different look than what we're going to see very shortly. You know, it was the green and the butterfly, and she's sleeping in the fetal position and this and that. And then it's Joel and Tess sitting there with a gun on her, you know, waiting.
I laughed at that part.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was,
You know, but one thing, and this may be the writer in me, but that scene is, again, very intentional because it shows you that even in the shittiest of circumstances, you can find that hope, you can find that light, you can find that beauty, even in this bad of a situation.
The light. And so talking about like symbolism and stuff like that and everything with as far as Ellie goes, and back to the first episode with, you know, in like Sarah's bedroom and stuff, they've been using butterflies a lot, and they've been using them as symbols, especially around Ellie. And you know, when you look up like stuff on butterflies, they usually, you know, it's they cocoon and then blossom and, you know, turn into a beautiful butterfly or whatever. So like butterflies are a symbol of like rebirth in a way. So every time they're throwing like this little, you know, visual of you of seeing butterflies near Ellie, meaning like she is like the rebirth of like civilization kind of thing. I think like just the parallels and the things that they're doing with these little civilizations and everything. It's powerful. It really is. Like, you gotta keep your eyes open, and like this show makes me want to do what I'm doing as far as like investigating stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like this show has literally revived me, which
That's
is, you know,
literally not what I thought you were gonna say.
why?
This game has made me want to go out and buy a PS4 to play.
Oh. I mean, look, if I get a little bonus check, I probably will. You know, I don't put it.
Although now is apparently the time, because apparently the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, like all the next gen stuff, apparently they have like some of the highest stock in stores right now than they've seen since it was released.
And now exactly. And now they're going to be selling like hotcakes, because everyone is going to want to play this game who'd never played it before.
Thankfully, the PS5 is backwards compatible, so
Mm-hmm.
it can play can play Last of Us 2, which only came out on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a PS5 remake of The Last of Us 1.
Right.
That is the only one I have yet to play.
Okay.
So as soon as the show is over, I'm replaying it again so I can cry in 4K.
Yeah, I've seen the remastered one. You know, and it looks amazing. I mean, I've watched, like I said, I haven't played the game personally myself, but I've watched several hours, and the remastered version looks fantastic.
I mean, that's like I told you guys last week. I've been playing the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I've been playing the campaign, and like the graphics in some of the cutscenes. I don't know. Today was, as I told people at work, today's the Mondayest of Mondays. But
it was Tuesday, so
yeah, exactly. We're all fucked up.
Happens.
But the graphics are insane, because like with the new Modern Warfare, the cutscenes are as close to live action as you could be without it being live action.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they mocapped like all the actors and stuff like that. I forgot like the actor who plays General Shepard, who was like an iconic Modern Warfare character. But he's a famous actor, and if you look at him, he looks like the actor, and it like blew my mind. And then I was looking at some of the remastered stuff for Last of Us, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, the graphics are insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, even what's his face was in it. John Berthal was on a Call of Duty game years ago.
Yep, I remember.
Or was it Battlefield?
I think it might have been Battlefield.
But he was. Yeah,
you got me fucked up. Hold on.
Googling it now.
Yeah.
Even back then it looked like him.
So as you know, we were saying in the pre-show and everything about Ellie being that character because of her age and because of like being so naive to this type of world and stuff. She has really good smart ass instincts, you know. And I thought it was great. You know, they show Joel and they show Tess sitting there breaking apart, like, I think it was like jerky or something. Yeah. And, you know, it sounds like they're eating bark. You know what I mean? It's all crunchy and shit, and they're chewing on it. And Ellie's sitting down and she takes out her sandwich, and they're both staring at her.
Chicken sandwich.
Yeah. And Tess is like, "Is that chicken?" And she's like, "Mm-hmm." She's just like, "Oh." So, like, chicken, and she's like, "You guys are smugglers, but I guess you didn't smuggle this." It's kind of, you know, like, she's like, "Merle got it from smugglers, but I guess you didn't smuggle this." So, like, and the fact that she's eating bread.
Yeah.
You know, like
20 years in.
Yeah, she's eating bread. Like, what does that tell you? You know what I mean?
I thought it was really funny when they're about to go into was it a museum they were going into?
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal pulls up the flashlight, and he goes, "Did what's her name pack one of these for you, or you just got another sandwich?"
I thought, wait, so one of the other it's funny you said that, because one of the other funny ones is she goes, "Can I have a gun?" And they're both like, "No, absolutely not." She goes, "Fine, let's throw a fucking sandwich at him."
Going into the chat real quick, Lucy asked, "What are those things?" As the clickers.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Lucy, I don't know if you got to see last episode, or our last episode. I went through the whole thing of like the order of the stages of the infection. Clickers are stage 3 when the infection gets so bad that they can't see and it takes over their face.
Yeah.
So they can only go by noise, which is why, like, when Joel stepped on the glass and it alerted them, because their senses, you know, when you lose one sense, your other senses heighten. So they go by noise.
Not only are they not only are they fast, but they are strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the enemy, you saw it, how many times the one got shot in the head, I think 3 or 4 times before it died. And
Yeah. This
after it got axed in the head, too. Like,
yeah. This is
That's
not
why,
your...
like,
Yeah. This is not your Walker type thing here. This is like massive effort.
Yeah.
And even in going into massive effort, the effort that they've all put in, becoming a character in a video game. You know that the movements and everything, they're pretty spot on because of how they do it these days. But watching them in the, when they're up in the Independence room with all the guns and the bust of the people and everything, when they're crouched and they're moving, it is mimicked so well to the game. I don't know how long it took them to practice that.
Yeah.
But I shit you not, if you were to put that scene of him and Ellie crouching and going through next to the video game where they crouch and walk, it's a mirror image. It is that good.
The only difference is there's less rooms in the show.
Yeah, right.
In the game,
yeah, you're constantly jumping and hurtling over something, corridors.
Yeah, and then, like, there was you went to like the cafeteria at one point. Like, you really navigated through the building. But yeah, that as soon as they opened the double doors and we saw like the blue background or the blue walls with the glass cases, I was like, oh my god, this is just like the game.
Yeah,
I think that's a smart choice on the part of the story of the writers, because it flowed very well.
Yeah,
the way that everything went, and if you added more rooms, that may have dragged it out.
Yeah,
and made it a little more not confusing, but just like maybe
like,
harder to follow. Yeah, exactly. But because it was like kind of like a condensed area, it made it very easy to follow what was happening, despite the fact it was literally shifting between 3 people's perspectives.
Yeah,
So I think it was very well written that way.
Now, if you did play the game and everything like that, when they're walking on the exterior, when they're walking across that one bridge outside, they pan out. It's a beautiful view of like how decimated everything is and how well nature has taken over everything. But Tess is asking Ellie questions about, what about your mom and dad? Well, who's going to come looking for you? Do you have a, mom, dad, boyfriend, or whatever? So it kind of hints, there's like a little hint there towards like Ellie where she's saying she got bit. She was alone in the mall. But if you play the game, you know that Ellie wasn't alone in the mall. So hopefully in the next couple episodes, not sure when, but we should be introduced to her friend.
I have a feeling it's going to be next episode.
You think? Really? Wait, isn't that going to be Frank and Bill?
Yes, but the reason why I think it might happen next episode is, or either that or 4, depending on the pacing. I feel like Ellie's going to apologize to Joel, like, I'm sorry you lost Tess. And then, try to get him to open up. Like, well, I lost someone too. And then that's going to tell the story of what really happened at the mall.
Yeah.
Did anybody else think that when they're waiting through the water of the hotel that someone was going to jump out?
No, I was waiting for something. Like, that scene when they first walked in, they show the frog on the piano and everything like that, and then, like, the lily pads. I started thinking of, like, Jumanji. I'm like, there's a crocodile in the water. Don't go in the water. Yeah. And then like another and then you have the slow burn of this relationship between Ellie and Joel forming. He starts walking in the water and she's like, I can't do that. I can't swim. And like he's like, are you serious? And she's like, well, there's no pools in the QZ, so we like hop.
Yeah.
And he like there's a cop who just like does this look.
And what did she say? How the fuck was I supposed to know?
She's like, well, how was I supposed to know that? It's that little, they give you like that little lightheartedness to ease right before they fuck you. Because it's coming. Like, like they give you, like right before they're ready to make you shit your pants, they give you that little ha-ha moment.
That little comedic moment.
Yeah. They do that in the game too.
Yeah.
Get your guard down just a little and then
right.
bring it on you.
Right. Because you're thinking to yourself, okay, everything's gonna be, yeah. Now, like, and if you're, if you haven't played the game, and to like see like if you had like no knowledge of anything, like 2 episodes, we've had 2 major character deaths. You know, it's like boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know, like they hit you hard and they hit you fast. You know, so obviously we'll talk about Tess's scene at the end and everything, but it just, you know, yeah, I mean, as far as the game goes and people dying, like it's happening, you know, you can't get attached to anybody, you know, and they're giving you that, you're getting that feeling right away. Like, doesn't matter who you are, who you're related to, what your story, you know, arc is, you're dead if you're dead, you know, and I'm happy to see that. I mean, unfortunate for them, but I'm happy to see that they're sticking to roots, you know, with certain things. So,
somewhat.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I heard that
issue with the way they handled. I know we're gonna get into it later.
Yeah,
I have a big issue.
I know that there's things like, so like I heard like the directors talking about, obviously with the spores, they're airborne, but it's hard to track and trace airborne spores, where they're gonna be, where, you know, like how would you follow that kind of thing? You can't really visually follow a spore, you know, unless you do some kind of weird, you know, animation thing with it, you know. And that's why they went with this hive theory thing, which I think we talked about it. We texted about it earlier. And like my feelings on it are, and I guess fungus really do this, which is, to me, was very like weird to find out, is the fact that fungus in like outside in the real world can do this. It can feel like and sense things from another area, which is, it's another one of these things where it's like, holy shit, like fungus can do this.
Yeah.
So this, yeah. So this like whole hive thing, it's very interesting. You know, obviously, like I said, they didn't want to do the spore thing, and I'm happy that they actually didn't do the spore thing, because, you know, it would have been, like I said, it would have been some kind of weird CGI like dynamic shown, you know, spores flying through the air, you know, like it would have looked like a million sperm going through the air. Yeah.
You can't see the reactions.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so, yeah. I mean, I don't know the other way because I don't know the game, but just, I like how they did this and how they've explained why they did it this way. And it makes more sense visually, you know, for the series watcher to understand.
See, when you play a game, anybody who's played any game in the world, you know, one little flick of it, your character's going off in another direction. So I'm really glad they didn't do the tendrils with the game, even though I know last week I said there was a possibility of it. Because in the game, if you accidentally take that one wrong step, boom, it's like a giant horde's gonna come after you. So, but at least with spores, it was easier to deal with it. You don't have to worry about accidentally taking the wrong step. So I'm really glad they kept the two entities separate.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucy. Yeah, the SFX have been like, I can't. They did, after the episode. If you stuck around and watched it, they showed you a little backdrop to like the history and like the steps they took to going to, like, they literally said the first thing we did before any script was written was bring in FX people and get the clicker down, because they knew that the people from the video games were going to be watching, and when they saw it, they wanted them to be like, yes, that's it right there. And it was that. Everything from the sound to the look to the movement, blew me away. Yeah. It really did. And
the clicker in the show was scarier than the clicker in the game.
100%. And, you know, so when Joel's sitting there and he's got the flashlight and he's trying to change his ammo, like the inside tactical me is just like, put the flashlight between your legs. What are you doing? Like, this is dangerous. Like, yeah, you know. And then he just sits there. He takes it. Yeah, he takes it and he like turns, and it's literally right there. That's how sneaky these things are. They are so fast and deceptive. It's just, it makes you feel like they're in danger. Yeah. You know, it's not like, oh, well, here they come.
See, off about the scene though. And Chris, you and I kind of were texting about it like a day or two ago. In the game, he has things that can make noise. He'll throw like a can or something, or a brick or a glass bottle.
Yep.
To see if kind of test the room, see if there's any clickers in advance. It's bothering me that we have not had that yet. It's nature. There's so many things. You could throw a stick and it would do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just mad that they're taking footsteps and not being practical and throwing something instead.
Yeah.
It's really bothering me.
I was in no Molotov yet, waiting for a Molotov to come flying at, someone's gotta the one. So if I could critique one thing where they are going through areas where they end up, like when they end up at was it the state building or something, when they end up at the state building, I think
at the end.
Yeah, the Capitol. Yeah, she literally picks up an AK-47, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a weapon. And then she takes grenades and she throws them over the floor. I'm like, well, those are weapons. And then, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I would have picked up at least a couple. Like, you don't need all of them to blow up. Like Ellie looks down at it. I'm like, yeah, Ellie, pick it up. Pick one up.
Do something.
Yeah. So there hasn't been any scavenging yet. And I feel like there's an element that's missing, but I'm pretty sure we'll get to it. Just like, how I'm waiting to see like a Molotov go flying through the air and just light like a whole horde of them on fire.
I think next week we might see the scavenging with Bill and Frank. Now, this isn't a spoiler, but it's just like a fun fact. Frank is a brand new character. He is new to the show. Okay. So I am so excited to see what they're
Frank, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Bill is the one that they've met up with.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm so excited.
And Bill is Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like he's built himself a pretty cool area.
This area in the show looks better than it did in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from what they've given you a glimpse at, because it's like a little glimpse of him and Joel talking, and he's talking about raiders coming at night and all that stuff and everything like that. And you see a couple people get lit on fire by these blowtorches that are hooked up to a fence.
That's sick.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh, well, that's, yeah. And I think like right before they cut the scene, it's Bill looking at Joel going, I think we'll be all right. It's in that cocky, typical Offerman way. So, yeah, let's the clickers. When they went into the building and Ellie saw the dude who was torn up on the ground.
My first thought was, you're fucked.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, I mean, Tess is like, maybe it happened outside and he crawled in here kind of thing. You can, like, the wheels start turning in Joel's head. And when he looked at Ellie and said, this is no longer a quiet thing, this is a silent thing. And then they played out the rest of those scenes in complete silence, raises your fear factor. Like literally heightens you in your awareness.
Like you can feel the adrenaline start. Like
sure,
like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Because now I'm like this, looking at the TV, and I'm trying like, where is it? I know it's around here. So I'm like, yeah. I'm trying to move around so I can see in the show. I'm like, I don't see anything yet. But like it really heightens your awareness. And it like just a silent movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something in the dark. And it's creepy, and there's, and you hear the creaks or whatever.
It's a quiet place, but better.
Yeah. Honestly, though, but yeah, like, and then, the roof collapse, and after the roof collapses in the doorway is when you hear the first clicks. And right there, like, I know we talked about this in the pre-show, but I literally had like a flashback to when I was younger and I was playing like the original Resident Evil in my room with the lights off. My mom is sitting next to me with like the book, reading to me like where to go and what to do and everything like that. And like you hear like the paws of the dogs in like Resident Evil tapping, like when they walked. And like it brought back like this fear when I used to shit my pants playing that game when I was like 16 years old, because of course you got to play it in the dark. My mom would be like literally shitting herself, reading the book to me, watching me play, because if I jumped, she jumped. So like when I heard that click, it hit home in my head. And again, my fear factor went up again. And I was like, oh man, this is bad. You know?
If anybody listening or watching wants to donate to Chris's diaper fund,
you know what it really kind of recalled for me was I Am Legend.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you see like when they're in the one building, and when Will Smith is in the building and he's got his flashlight out and he's panning, and then it's really quiet.
Yeah. And there's the one standing there in the corner.
Yeah. And you see the
breathing.
And it's like it's breathing because the heart rate is so high.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the scream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, and he's like, oh shit, and he fucking runs.
Yeah.
I got that same feeling, and I love I Am Legend. It's one of my favorite zombie
Part 2's coming
movies. Out. Yeah. And I loved it. And I the first thing I thought it was that movie, and I was like, that is so well done.
A lot of smart things that Joel did in that scene when they're running away, trying to get away from him, so they could fight him or whatever, is as he's running, he pushes one of the busts of those statues over, and he goes smashing through the glass as a distraction, which gives him a moment, to do what he's got to do. Like I said, with the whole flashlight thing and trying to change his ammo out. And, once again, you got a revolver.
All right, Rick Grimes, calm down.
Yeah, right. And if you have a revolver, why don't you have a speed changer,
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, Joel? And that's another
Come
thing.
on, it's been how many years?
I know.
Get your shit together.
In the game, Joel usually has either a pistol or like a shotgun or something like that. And they have him using a rifle, long rifle, in the show so far. So that was like one of the changes I saw as well, that like hasn't, I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of weapons at some point. I mean, we saw the axe from Tess. She a hatchet or axe to the one clicker's head, which didn't kill it.
Which that was kind of nuts to see that. Like, I understood the premise of it because again, we've researched, and obviously Meg's played the game, so you understand the progression of the virus and how it evolves and it mutates. So the clickers are heavily resistant to damage because they've got this protective like fungus armor on their head, and there's certain vulnerability spots that you have to get to kill them. But knowing it and seeing it happen are two very different things. Yeah. So when she hit the axe in the head, I was like, fuck,
it's still alive. Yeah, that's what, like, for when we come from, we just left watching The Walking Dead, so we're used to that. Got hit in the head, he's dead.
One hit, one kill.
He shot the one, I think, like 5 times in the body. Yeah. Just trying to get away from it and create distance.
You would think 20 years in he would know. Don't go for the
Well, yeah. I mean, you would think, but running, trying to shoot behind you, like I said, a few times he just shot it to help create distance, just so he could get a minute to breathe.
But some of it did look a little amateurish for someone that's been through this at least 2 decades. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And clearly he's survived where a lot of other people haven't.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed very odd.
Yeah.
Well, but 2, he's probably never had a child with him either that he's trying to protect.
True.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, you're like, okay, I'm doing this, but I also got this I got to deal with also. So.
Especially the last time that he did have a child with him, it ended poorly.
Yeah. Well, in this scene, Ellie gets bit again. While they're laying down next to each other with the thing on top of them, with the clicker on top of them, and he literally bites Ellie again right in front of him. So, and like, of course, he, sees that happen. He's obviously very guarded and very on the fence about her immunity kind of thing, And it obviously, as the episode comes to an end, like I said, they're building this, they're taking baby steps and building this bond with him and Ellie. Obviously he, when she's out on the balcony once they're done with the clicker scene and they go out into that little plank walk bridge, which is like right out of the comic, right out of the video game. So, and then they see like the dome, the gold dome of the Capitol building and everything. Like you could see like he's looking at her as she's looking at like the scenery and taking it in, saying, I think she says something like, you don't see, I've never seen anything like this before, kind of thing, or just take a look at that scene or whatever she says. I can't remember, but she says something along those lines. That like she's in awe of what she's looking at, and he's kind of looking at her, like, like innocence. It's he's seeing innocence still alive in this world. That's how I took it. Which is for him, I think. A lot for him to reabsorb, seeing someone being as innocent as she is in this kind of situation.
And in really small increments, you're starting to see him softening up to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so in a very brief amount of time, he has kind of started to like said certain things that shows that he's concerned about her safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the beginning, you think that his only motive with this whole thing is to get what he wants out of it. But then there's the scene like where he's wrapping Tess's ankle, and he says something to Ellie like, don't go too far or whatever, stay with us. And you could say that, okay, that's him looking out for his investment, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost looks more than that, because if you look at him very carefully, look at his facial expressions, and this is 100% because of the caliber actor that Pedro Pascal is, you could tell that he's showing concern, like genuine concern. And it's not just somebody that has this ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and Tess, too, she kind of runs the show with those two, with her and him. And she keeps telling him that he's got to have some hope. You got to look at the good things. You got to find some hope. You got to have something to hope for. And so I think that, knowing that he has to take care of this little girl, that's starting to seep in and get into there. So he's looking at things a little bit differently.
Yeah. And when Ellie feeds them that line about like, oh, I'm the last hope and blah, 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 whatever. And you see him finish it. He finishes the statement from her. And he goes, yeah, he says something like, we've been through this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. Because it's like, are we going to find out later on that there has been other claims that there have been people out there who've been immune to this virus?
Mm.
Well, that's what he said. I mean, he said, because she said, I forget what exactly she said, but he said, yeah, we've heard that before. And then he went over top of her speaking and said, yes, we've heard that before as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's been, that's why he's so skeptical.
Yeah.
But you almost wonder if it's people who are truly like Ellie who are immune, or is it like the Eugene Porters of the world who say they're immune, so people will protect them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially because he was saying verbatim what she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting to me that it was very scripted, but intentionally scripted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lucy points out the fact that Joel keeps looking at his watch, which there is a nod in the episode, a couple of nods, but a main nod to Sarah, basically, as he does glance at his watch at one point in time. Meg, you had pointed out about the watch when it broke.
Yes. I didn't realize, 10 years in, I didn't realize it. His watch stopped at the exact point in time that Sarah died.
Right.
And it took me, I'm embarrassed to say it took me 10 years to realize it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Some things fly under the radar. It's fine.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of things fly over the radar.
Yeah.
But, in the scene with the Independence Hall, or the museum, there was a big discrepancy from the game.
Okay.
So, you know how in the episode, Joel and Ellie were off fighting the clicker and then Tess separated? Well, yes, that did happen in the game.
Okay.
However, when they meet back up, you hear Tess kind of be like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game, it's a subtle nod to her realizing, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that in the show.
Right.
So it kind of makes you think, like, oh, is it not going to happen?
If you pay real close attention, there's a little blood on her jacket right up here on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Like a little dribble of blood where it looks maybe like where the clicker bit her
Bladder.
and then pulled back and it was dripping blood from its mouth, but it's like right on her coat.
And then what got me was like, okay, she knows she's gonna get bit, but she lets him, or she knows she's gonna die. She lets him waste the electrical tape on her ankle. Like, no, these are resources that he could use down the road. Like, you're gonna die in a couple hours. Like, why?
And kudos to using black electrical tape for a sprain, by the way.
Smart.
Yeah, but I think that the reason she did that was because she wanted to help them out as long as she could until the very last second. And the only reason that she sacrificed herself is because it was the only way to let them get away.
Yeah.
If there had been a way for her to continue with them up until her death,
right,
she would have done it. I truly believe, and that's why I think she allowed him to do that.
Well, so she got bit on the neck.
Yep.
So we already know there's a 5 to 15 minute time frame. I think on the plaque it says anything from the shoulder up or neck up was 5 to 15 minutes.
I thought it was 2 hours.
Mm-mm.
Am I wrong?
It's kind of in between, like it's in between the first two regions. So it's kind of, I feel like it could be anything within that time frame.
Yeah.
Like, it's not automatically the first range.
They definitely led you to believe it was a very short window of time. You know what I mean? Because the disinfection from the time she showed it to where she was given that beautiful kiss goodnight, you could see it had spread up the side of her face already. So it was definitely moving quick. So yeah, I mean, where she got bit is definitely a you're dead.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm sure there was some kind of like, we need to progress and get to where we got to get like as quickly as possible. I mean, so when they show up at the Capitol building, everybody's dead. They come to find it, like basically Joel says that like what happened was someone was bit, they turned, and then they all fought each other and everyone lost.
Yeah, like the living versus the infected.
Yeah.
And they kind of, both sides lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tess is still trying to like fortify the fact that Ellie is immune. She gets bit again. They had her wrap it up, and there's not even like a drop of blood there.
And it almost looks like it started healing already. Like it almost started like closing up just a little bit, just enough to be like it's not progressing. It's actually getting better.
Yeah. So like she finally, I think, drives the point home with him, saying like she's your only chance. Like you need to protect her at all costs, and keep her alive. So, I know she doesn't go out this way in the game, but I thought that this was a really good send off for her, and her, as her character goes. Meg's not happy with it. Meg's not happy with it, but I personally thought it was pretty good.
My thoughts. You got it.
No, so I mean, so the one creature on the floor there moves. Joel shoots it, and you immediately see the fungus start crawling around its hands. And then they show you this hive reaction. And it's these things move, man. These things move. Like it's
World War Z
it's
move.
like World War Z move. Yeah, like they took a lot, like the best of a lot of worlds and incorporated it all into this one creature that fits. It's like checks every fear box. You know what I mean? Like it really does. It's fast. It's extremely strong. Granted, they can't see, but their hearing is like bat radar kind of thing. Like good. It's like amazing. Their hearing. They can pinpoint, exactly where you are with just one sound, and they start coming. And I mean, kudos to Tess. I mean, she dumps all the fuel on the ground.
Yep.
She throws a box of grenades.
The fucking grenades killed me.
I know, and I was just like, they literally pan to Ellie, look down at her feet at the grenade, and I was just like, yes, you want to pick that up. Like, you take one grenade at least.
But,
yeah.
There's like 10 of them at your feet.
Yeah. But, nobody takes any grenades. Nobody takes any guns. And once again, like this is like the scavenging part of the game where, I'm Meg, I'm sure you're on board with this. Like, I wish they would incorporate a little bit more of that aspect of the game, the scavenging part. You know, collecting things. You know, to put a silencer on a gun. You know what I mean? Stuff like
what I said earlier in the show. How we
Yeah.
haven't seen them throw anything
Right.
to try to see if there's a clicker.
Yep.
A silencer, like you mentioned. They use water bottles.
Cool.
And they did that actually in Max Payne 3 too.
Yep.
Tempted to go replay that just for that purpose. But you know, but it's cool because in the game, every time you shoot with that water bottle silencer, you know, all right, perfect example, water bottle. You stick the gun through, here's the part that comes out. Every time you shoot, it's gonna break more and more, so it's not gonna be as silent.
Right.
So you only get a limited amount of bullets with this, so to speak, even though it's not a gun.
Right.
Now if I open that, that's gonna explode on me. So
I'd like to see that.
do you want to come paint my house when it's done? But no, so it's really you know I'm really mad that, especially for somebody who's been doing it for 20 years, we haven't seen any scavenging, and it pisses me off. And I understand this is time constraint. There's only so much of the story you can show, so it's kind of maybe alluding to we just know that they're doing it.
Yeah, grab and go. You know what I mean? It's like grab it, like you're like they could easily, like, as they're running through something, just reach out and grab, like, oh, need that box of ammo, whatever. And like I said, like if I were to nitpick the show, which that would be like the one thing right now that I would say is missing.
Before Meg goes down a rabbit hole, I just want to say one thing I did not understand. Maybe I'm missing a crucial piece of evidence that would help explain this. That you guys can clarify for me. But when Tess is standing there and she's got the lighter and she's trying to light it, a lot of the zombies are running in the building, and not all of them are clickers. Some of them are like what looks like early stages.
Yep.
They have their vision. How did so many of them run past her and not see her standing there?
I think maybe they were just...
There was quite a distance between the door and her.
Right.
And they were running diagonally in her general direction.
Yeah.
Kind of like Walking Dead, how like when you're in that horde, you're just going like a herd of sheep. So I think it was kind of just like funneling through.
But especially because she was, she had the Zippo when she was making that noise. I'm like,
I think there was just so much noise happening in the building with them shuffling through.
Yeah.
That noise of a click, click, click isn't loud enough to ignite, no pun intended. Them realizing like, oh fuck, there's somebody here. Let me go infect them.
Yeah.
But she's already infected because she's got a bite. Can they sense that?
Not really. It's not like Walking Dead, how like they smell blood and they're attracted to it. They don't.
They have that, but they have that
hive mind
where they know where the fungus is. So if they can sense the fungus in her,
they know that somebody's there. They just didn't. She was hiding. Because in the game, when there's a you know how I was saying like with the clicker, when the clicker is blind but it goes by hearing. Well, they'll hear a noise, but they don't know that if it's a person or just something that fell, because they can't go by, like, they don't have tracking on humans. So when they're in this like horde, like if you're hiding well enough in the game, they won't know you're there.
Right.
Unless you really make if it's a infected that has vision, if you're seen or heard, you're fucked. If it's a clicker, if you're heard, you're fucked. Loader. Don't get me started on bloaters. We'll save that for later on when we adjust.
Yeah. Well, she mentions, I guess, some tales of people talking about the city's overran and they run around in hordes, and there's all these different types. The ones that shoot the spores, and then there's other ones. And they're like, oh, people tell a lot of tales, and all that stuff. But in the game, obviously, these things exist.
Yeah.
So obviously. I think it'd be great to be able to see these progress as we go along. I imagine they will. They wanted to make sure that they went and displayed the clicker, on like in all its glory. So I can only imagine that we'll see some of the other ones as well. I hope. Maybe those are the ones that they throw the Molotov at. You know what I mean? Like it would be like one of the bloaters or bomb, whatever the hell they're called. They hit them with like a Molotov.
We have to see the bloaters.
Yeah.
We have to. I'm thinking like I'm trying to think of where. Because in the game, this isn't a spoiler or anything. Around the time that we see Frank, I'm sorry, Bill. Throughout that whole time that we're with him, that's when you see your first bloater.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, Joel gets caught in a trap and he gets hung upside down with a rope, and a bloater enters the room. So you have to shoot yourself down and then kill the bloater.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling something like that's going to happen. Maybe not exactly him getting hung upside down, but I feel like that's what. So either I'm thinking by episode 4 we're going to see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because at the end, nope, can't say it.
End of what? End of the series?
No.
Oh,
No, something that happens at the end of the game that you deal with.
Okay.
I'll tell the two of you off after the show. Sorry, Renee.
Why? Why? What?
No, because I thought maybe we might see a bloater like toward like episode like 7, 8, 9, and then I think about what happens in the game around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, oh wait, no, we're probably gonna see the bloater episode like 4 or 5.
In the game, Ellie does get delivered to the Fireflies, correct? Right.
I'm not gonna say anything else. I shouldn't have even have said that.
Well, because
stop baiting her.
Well, no,
Stop it, because people don't want to know, Chris. Stop it.
All
You
right.
guys can talk privately later. I don't want to know.
Okay. She does get.
Trust me.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's literally the only thing I'm going to say. Chris, I love you, but fuck you.
Trust me, we're not going to be that podcast that ruins it for everybody, okay?
I'm not. I was just asking a very.
You were baiting me.
I asked a generic question.
Say that again. Don't be that podcast that leaks news before it's real and saying it's one thing when it's really not. Because I'm not going to be the one that spoils it for the bunch.
It was just a generic question.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only question I'm going to be answering.
Okay, so that's the only one I wanted to ask. It was just a basic generic question.
Please go down my brand.
Yes.
Of course. Go.
Okay, tell us about Tess. What you didn't like.
Okay, so she got done dirty.
All right, that's all the time we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
So in the game, it's not the horde that runs after them. It's the Fedra agents that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So in the game, she went out in a blaze of glory. Like, not, okay, so she did technically go out in a blaze of glory still, but with ammo instead of fire. So she had this moment where she was just like going all like Rambo on their asses. And I wanted to see that so badly. Love what they did. I thought it was really cool, really awesome, but I am so mad that we didn't get to see her go out guns blazing.
Mm-hmm.
But fun fact, the lighter that she was using, it was actually remodeled after the lighter that a character in Uncharted 4 used.
Oh, okay.
That character from Uncharted 4 was voiced by Troy Baker, aka
That's cool.
The prop masters remade that lighter. They made an extra one for Troy.
Very nice.
So I'm really mad that she. Oh, and also, there was no reason to show that Ellie. No reason to show that Ellie got scratched again, because in the game she didn't get re-scratched. So Tess is like, look, this is 3 weeks old, and nothing, this happened. Like, this is what, a couple hours old, already happening? Like, they did not need to do that extra scratch to prove to Joel. They could have just stayed true to the original source material. So I'm really mad at that. And yeah, I have one more fun fact, and that's about it.
So I want to ask you a question. Because they have touched on the fact that she's been bitten several.
Spoiler?
No,
Okay.
She's been bitten twice, right? She's been bitten twice, and
Scratch, really.
Well, yeah, whatever. Infected twice. Let's just say she's been infected more than once.
We'll see.
So I know that we were talking way earlier in text and stuff, and I said the only thing I really hope they don't do, and that's that, like, Ellie has picked up on the fact, like, they went through this whole hive thing, right? I'm hoping that even though she's immune and shouldn't have anything to do as far as being infected or anything like that, I really hope they don't try to do some kind of weird Stranger Things thing where, like, she can feel what they feel
Yeah, I don't
because
think they
she's
are.
got like
Yeah.
whatever residual in her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just praying that they don't do anything like that because,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it.
yeah, just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. You know, like, I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I
Yeah.
can see where that'd be a concern because it's like a lot of this show and a lot of the game and a lot about the virus is very deeply steeped in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a real thing.
Right.
This is something that could, yes, it would be very hard for it to happen.
Yeah.
But it could happen, and this is very, very good, very realistic. What if it did happen?
Yeah.
And so to kind of go into that that paranormal, supernatural range would be very weird.
Yeah, for her to all of a sudden be like, turn into a psychic and be like, they're coming. Like, I can feel them.
My spidey sense is tingling.
It's like, no, please don't do that. I hope they don't.
They're trying to keep the fungus as real, like with the growing like that. It can do that, and it does that in reality, like Ryan was saying. And so I think that they'll stay. They're just trying to show you how this, fungus can grow, and how it really does grow. And things. So I think they're staying true to that, just to show how crazy this could be if it did morph into this or whatever.
Right.
So I think they'll stay okay. And Meg, you should listen to their podcast because they do talk a lot about Tessa's scene and why they did the things they did. I mean, I get what you wanted to see and everything like that, but it was really interesting to hear how, why would Fedra even be in this location? So that didn't make any sense. They wanted to show the dissension between, these infected that got, all aggravated and they get all, whatever, and then that fight that happened and they all end up dying. And it's very interesting to hear, especially here the showrunners, the guys who this is what they did and why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I understand. I have no issue with the fact that it was the infected that came through. No issue. I thought that was very clever, especially how we got teased earlier in the episode when they were all kind of dormant. I thought that was fantastic. My issue is just, we spent so little time with Tess, and she is such an important character. I just wanted to show that, just how much of a badass she really was. That was really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And then back to when they were showing them, and was the sun? Were they affected by the sun coming through?
Yeah. It was like when the sun came through the clouds or whatever, they kind of moved with it.
The clouds were coming and the sun was.
Yeah.
When they woke up.
No.
Way back in when Ellie was first seeing that group out laying out there all together.
Yes.
So the sun, if you watch, the clouds are rolling and the sun is hitting them and going away, hitting them and going away, and as the sun hits them,
They go with it.
The only thing I can really think of, because in the game, clickers are around even in the dark. Saw later on when they were in the building, even though it was still light out. I think with fungus or fungi, it's affected by clouds and sunlight.
Yeah.
I failed science. I'm not too great at this. But I feel like
photosynthesis.
the clouds and the sun, the moisture, that affects how the fungus moves.
Mm-hmm.
So since they're attached with that, maybe it's a,
I just thought of that. That's one question I'm gonna ask Meg if she knows anything.
Yeah.
Because they took a different route instead of the spores. That part's kind of a whole new ballpark for me. But that's just the best guess I have.
Yeah, and I was hoping in their podcast they would talk about it. They didn't. I was like, dang it, maybe it just was. Maybe I noticed it too much. Maybe there was no significance, and I was just like, wait, but that's got to be a thing.
But it's it's interesting because how I kind of said this off the show. I think I said it before we started. How they went the whole first season is supposed to be the first game, but yet they're still adding all this original material, but still keeping it true. So we're doing really good pacing. But I like how they were able to skip out on certain scenes of the game. Like there's this one scene where they're escaping from Fedra agents, and they have to cross down this really long, skinny bridge to get to another side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm liking that they're skipping around, getting rid of certain things that seem important but aren't. So I thought that was well done.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I guess from the video game, obviously the two buildings, the towers that are leaning against. Yeah, so there's extensive play through that whole. Building, those buildings and everything. Obviously, with the scope and the size of it and everything like that, the film that would have been probably just overbearing. But, not being able to see it doesn't hurt. I don't think it hurts the show at all. I mean, if you got I've watched the gameplay of it, to obviously see them try to put that in the show would have been great, but I think it was just it would have been a very large scale and it's a lot of just up and down, it's a lot of navigating, it's stuff that they probably didn't want to waste time on, obviously, but
the amount of times I died in that fucking building. There's just one particular, not a spoiler, obviously, because we're just going through it. There's just one particular part where you climb over this ledge and Ellie's hiding, and it's this huge room full of cubicles, and there's one little wall to kind of divide the room up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clickers, there's runners, which is just before clickers. So if you're seen by the runner, you're done for. And I've ran out of ammo so many times in this scene, and I just died. Oh, I rage quit on this part, and I hated it. So I'm kind of glad we didn't have to see it.
Yeah.
I may have thrown the remote.
Yeah, I mean,
I did I'm going to share it with Renee. The thing your son sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Was so fucking funny.
So funny.
You want to read it? Because it was funny as hell.
It was good. Wait, if I can find the right text. Here we go. So it was a meme thing that said, "The Last of Us seems like a pretty faithful adaptation of the original game, but I think it was cowardly to leave out the scene where Joel gets killed 18 times in the first clicker room and considers getting a refund." So I thought that was quite hilarious.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel that.
There was a part in the beginning when Joel is moving the bookshelf. Mm-hmm. There's so many memes and TikToks right now saying that Joel did what they call a QTE. It's called a quick time event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when there's an animation on the screen and you just have to hit a button at a certain moment to hit it right, so the action still continues.
Right.
So everybody's oh, Joel did a QTE by moving the shelf.
Yeah, it's true though, because I think in the game, I mean, you got to move a lot of stuff. They use the furniture to block the doors. Yeah, so there's a lot of that. So we'll see. I mean, it'd be nice to and we have 7 more episodes to go. So I mean, I'm sure it's coming. We're just being impatient because that's that's what we do. We need something to complain about. The show's been amazing, but
I've had no grind my guts comments.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of grind my guts.
Yeah, Meg had quite a few. So
I got a 2-minute rant.
Yeah, I'm good. I can't. Like I said, I look forward to Sunday nights now. For this.
I kept saying to Chris that I watched the episode twice. And each time I would have a moment where I'd look away because I was doing something else. And then I would hear Pedro Pascal talking and they'd be like, "Mando?" And I'd be like, "Oh, no, wrong show."
Mando. It's Daddy.
Whoa.
Get it straight.
Whoa.
All right.
Daddy.
Daddy.
Right? Oh, we're not starting no daddy. No.
Where is Daddy Josh?
Listen, Luce.
It doesn't comment, so I don't know.
I know. I haven't seen Pi. Is Pi not here?
Well, I don't know if she watched the show.
Oh, okay.
Sure everybody's keeping up, so.
Oh, all right.
It's Monday?
Usually Pi just comes and hangs
it
out.
could be a Monday thing too. I know several people can't come on Mondays,
Mm.
so.
Gotcha.
Well, Lucy's here with us.
Oh, I know. She says she's making fun of me, killing me. I mean, it's not that. No, I'm actually happy. I have nothing to really grind my guts about.
Lucy, I'll message you after the show, by the way, to answer your question from today.
What question is that, Ryan?
The one you tagged me on Facebook?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see it.
About her son gonna do a drawing for her.
Oh,
Walking the drawing from it. It's very cool.
Very nice.
Her son is a very good artist. I guess I'm not sure. How old is he, Lucy?
That friggin' Godzilla was so friggin' cool that he did. I was like, damn, this kid's got more talent than I do, and I'm twice his age. Shit. Not that hard to say. Not gonna lie.
But you've written a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You do a wonderful podcast.
Oh, thank you.
With all of us. So there's that.
Yeah.
Very good.
True.
You're good.
Not bad.
No. We got anything else we want to touch up on, or any? What else have you guys been watching? Anything by any chance? Anything?
I just
watching Disney movies.
Emily the Criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that.
It's so good. Watch it.
Yeah.
What is it on?
What?
Netflix?
Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's Audrey Plaza and
I love Aubrey Plaza.
Oh.
and Theo Rossi's in it too.
Has anybody seen Aubrey Plaza recently as a blonde? She looks like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she was on Saturday
You
Night
need to
Live.
watch her SNL episode.
Yeah, I did too.
Leslie Knope.
Oh yeah. What the hell's her name?
So happy. That
All
was
right.
the best weekend update.
What's her name in real life? Leslie Knope.
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler. Thank you.
She's Leslie Knope. That's
Yeah, they did the news thing together. It was
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I saw a picture of Aubrey Plaza with her blonde. Oh no, I saw her and Jimmy Fallon, and for a second there, I was like, "Is that Lady Gaga?" And
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, Aubrey Plaza." I was like, "Oh shit."
Because of the Agatha Covenant, the Agatha show.
That's right. I forgot she's going to be on Covenant of Darkness. I completely forgot about that. Aubrey Plaza.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And have you guys watched Vengeance with BJ Novak?
I want to.
Oh my gosh! Like seriously, I think 9 out of 10. It is so good.
Hmm.
It was unexpected. I mean, like, yeah, I didn't even know what to expect exactly, but that was not it, and it was so good.
You know, I've just rewatched all like the first 2 seasons of because it's coming back soon. Is Outer Banks on Netflix?
Couldn't
I
get
need to
into
finish
that.
this.
I loved it.
second season.
I absolutely loved it. I don't know why, but I
There's some
absolutely loved
Walking
it.
Dead characters that show, or actors.
Oh, I heard about that.
Jason Warner Smith
Yeah,
in the
dude.
first season is the coroner.
Yeah.
Jason Kirkpatrick is like the lighthouse keeper.
The guy that played, what's his name? Colin. He was the lollipop guy with Beth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's in it, and I can't remember. There's several. I wrote an article and listed them all, and then people even commented and said, "Oh, you forgot so and so." I'm like, "Oh shoot!" So I added them in.
Has
But
anybody?
yeah, there's several, but I enjoyed the first season, and I started the second and haven't finished, I believe.
Has anyone seen? I think it's called Glass Onion.
Yes.
No, I want to see it though.
I-
So good.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
insane.
All right.
I would say it's better than the first one.
It was 100%.
Wait, what's the first one?
It's Knives Out.
Just regular Knives Out.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah, so it's the same guy. It's him
yeah.
doing the next one. There's
Yeah.
gonna be one more then too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have to
He said
check
that
it
he's
out.
Skipping all of his other projects, we're going
Yeah.
straight into
This
that.
one, yeah, because they had
He's so
Netflix already
excited.
signed it. Yeah, he had to go back to like elocution class to learn that accent again.
Oh shit.
That was like Kate Hudson did so well.
And Dave Bautista, Batista.
Yeah,
I love Dave Bautista.
It was just
The
such a great.
only one I was a little disappointed with, as much as I love her, Catherine Hahn. I was a little disappointed
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
her character.
I wanted to see more. Yeah,
I love Catherine Hahn.
Still the show.
yeah.
Becky says she's been catching up with Cobra Kai. Not really your kind of supernatural topic.
Everybody's
But I'm enjoying- no, Cobra Kai's got what? They're in like season 6 already.
Well, didn't they just announce that the next season's the end last
Yeah.
season?
Yeah. I mean, that show took off though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
people love it. So, Lucy, good night. I guess you're leaving. Miss you too. I'm happy you're able to pop on, spend some time with us. Well, obviously, I mean, we'll be back next week after episode 3. Meg, are you here next week?
Meg won't be with us.
Meg won't
will
be
Yeah,
here.
you'll be on vacation.
I thought
Yeah.
we were going to double dip the following week.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh shit, that's right. We did say that, didn't we?
okay.
I just. It would feel weird not having Meg's input.
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I forgot. Don't go by anything I say.
it's so pretty.
I know. Thank you.
Chris has had a day, so
Yeah.
we'll But yeah, so we'll just double up the next week. That's fine. So yeah.
So you guys won't see us next week, but we'll be back for a double feature
Ooh.
the following week. So
Like my family, they chose when to go on vacation.
that's okay.
If there's acceptable reasons to not have a podcast, I think vacation and time to yourself is
Yeah.
definitely the most acceptable reason.
I'm
Absolutely.
not going to have a lot of time to myself. I'm going to have maybe like one day.
Yeah.
Maybe like a few hours.
Yeah, but even vacation with family is still time for yourself. It's not work. It's not the stresses of everyday life.
Mm. Mm.
I know, it sounds
And
phenomenal.
meet the
I'm so
presenters.
fucking jealous.
I'm excited to be a Disney adult for a week
Yeah.
and a Universal
And-
adult for one day.
And speaking of Disney, I can't wait. I mean, we got February coming, March. Like, there's so much Disney being dropped this year.
Mhm.
I got my tickets for Ant-Man already.
Yeah.
I actually have to pre-order my tickets because
Yeah.
I always go opening night so I can get the collector's bucket. I have like a shelf above my bed with like my nerd memorabilia
Mhm.
stuff. And it's like I have like all my autographed Funko Pops. I have like my Eddie Guerrero wrestling title belt that they made when he passed away.
Wow.
And I have all of my popcorn buckets from all the Marvel movies lined up on the shelf and all the buckets and stuff like that, and like the toppers and stuff.
Rob does that too. Rob Mack. Rob gets some phenomenal stuff when he goes to the openings and stuff.
What I think one of my next adult purchases is I think it was AMC theaters for the Wakanda Forever premiere had the light up bucket,
Yes.
and I think that people are selling them on eBay for like $60, and I'm like, it's a lot of money, but at the same time, I want it.
Mhm.
And this is
Something
why.
really cool when Deadpool came out.
Mhm.
7-Eleven had just regular cups that looked like Deadpool, and they had Deadpool on a straw. So
That's
I
cool.
got like 3 different ones, and they're up on top of my movie shelves.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm all down for it. I can't wait. It's just going to be a very exciting year. So, I mean, Loki 2 is
And the
coming
camp.
out.
Yep.
You know, it's my downtime with Disney it's been very depressing.
You got Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
You got Ant-Man Quantumania.
I did hear on the news about Jeremy Renner, 30 plus broken bones in total. He's going to have a long road to recovery. We probably won't be getting another Hawkeye for a while. maybe never again. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Kate Bishop for now.
yeah.
You know what? You think about it though, that could be a good way of passing the mantle on a Kate Bishop.
Sure. Yeah.
If that was something that he was okay doing,
Mm-hmm.
then
Especially since they already had the show.
Yeah.
exactly. Then you do some kind of off-screen
like
injury.
Old man Hawkeye. Yeah. He like comes
Yeah.
back like rehabilitated or something. But
Yeah. And then have him just
It's
say, "Look,
dead.
I can't do this anymore. I need someone to step up and be the Hawkeye, be the Avenger."
yeah.
And then he hands her, the bow, and it's like a passing the torch. You know what I mean?
Sucks, man.
Passing at the bow.
It sucks.
And
Because he also has the Mayor of Kingstown, which I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
season 2. I think is just kicking off.
Yep.
I think it just kicked off.
And
No,
did you hear they
I think
redid
it's
the post?
Yeah, they redid. Oh, I thought it was just over, but maybe not. But yeah, they redid the poster. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Really?
Because he was initially like really beat up in the poster.
Mhm.
It
And
looked
after
too
his
much like the
accident-
hospital picture.
Yeah. So
Oh,
they
shit.
actually re-photoshopped it to take some of. They kept a couple like maybe like a scratch on the forehead, scratch on the cheek, but they took out about 90% of his wounds
Wow.
just because they
Out of
didn't want it to
respect.
be
And
so
did it start already? Season 2?
I'm sorry.
Did season 2 start yet? I think it should be starting soon if it didn't start already.
There are 2 seasons, so I'm looking to see. Oh, season 2 is running right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just started on the 15th.
Okay, so yeah, it just
And
started.
then the next one, yeah. So
Yep.
no, I guess all that advertising. I thought I read somewhere that it was the last episode. It's
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
episode
so you gotta start.
3 is this Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. If you guys want to catch up on another Taylor Sheridan
Yeah.
series, the Mayor of Kingstown's great. It's dark. It's got it's a pretty
Yeah.
dark tale.
Got a good cast.
It's got a huge cast. I mean, the dude who played Pope from The Walking Dead, he's like one of
Hopefully Pablo Quintillo is
Yeah.
in it too.
yeah. He's
Oh,
like
Chandler,
he's like he's a big bad in it. So
Diane Weiss. Oh, I love her.
Like, yeah.
it's a really good cast, really good show. Check it out. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's all we got.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed
I
it.
put a plug in for the camp. So they're extending so there'll be Memorial Day weekend, but they are going to extend to Thursday, and Thursday's going to be an outreach in Atlanta, and we're going to do they're doing bags and all
Go lay
these different
down.
things for the homeless people in Atlanta.
Oh, very
And
cool.
So I will have I can put links in our description of where you can actually go on their Walmart list and order specific items, and they'll be sent right to Eliza, or you can donate money towards this. But they need food, clothing, toiletries, and different things like that. I think the toiletries and things, I think they got that about wrapped up, but the food is the big thing. So even a monetary donation to go towards the food. If you can't be there to help or whatever, and if you can be hands-on that day, they do need help. I think it'll be, I believe it'll be around lunchtime-ish or somewhere in there on Thursday. But yeah, so I'll put the links in the description of this so people can, if they want to donate, that would be appreciated.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's a very cool thing they're doing.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And they I think at one time, they had 200 bags
Holy
of
shit.
toiletry. I can't remember. They were doing like this bag and this bag. There's 2 different bags they're doing, and they bought like some sleeping bags and tarps, just different things that they can still carry like in a backpack kind of thing. And so they're just and the outpour of people donating has been crazy. It's just been so wonderful. But I know the food side, they do need more donations there for sure.
And there's dog food on that list too, which I thought.
Yeah, because they're doing they've talked to some people, and they're going to do even like some veterinary services, I believe, if that's needed. And but they don't, the other people they've talked to, no one really brings their pets, but just in case, they're trying to prepare for that as well. So
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a big thing, and I'm not for sure where it's going to be yet, but I know there was talk of it being on City Hall grounds there in Atlanta too. So I don't know that for sure yet because I missed part of the meeting last night. But it's going to be a really huge outreach that's going to be very impactful. And then if they have extra supplies, they have a great place to donate that to there in Atlanta as well. So any extra supplies will go, they'll still go to help the homeless, just in a different venue or whatever. So.
I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine. She's actually Chris. I'm going to reach out to Carrie.
Okay.
My friend Carrie, she is very involved in the city of Atlanta. So I'll reach out to her, see if there's anything that she may be able to help with.
Very cool. Yeah, she's got connections.
It's a very cool way.
So we have several people on the ground in Atlanta, so it's nice that they're able to go look at the different locations and then report back and things like that. But any assistance is appreciated. So that would be great.
It's a very cool way.
I'm so bummed I can't make it.
It's a very cool way of giving back to a city that's given us so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Becky says, I'm glad we're all heading into Atlanta for the Camp Cares. Yeah. Tiffy, what's up? You're late to the show, Tiff.
We're seconds away from ending.
Yeah.
I should put my kids to bed.
Right? Yeah.
Dang kiddos.
Always messing everything up.
Becky, The Boys, you're right. Yeah, The Boys is coming back. So we'll have a new season. We'll have JDM on that. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Tiffy, just give the kids some Benadryl. They'll knock out really easy. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to me. I don't have any kids. Bad idea.
You gotta.
Her character looks amazing.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be like the Scarlet Witch of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I want to watch it.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. We got a lot of good stuff coming.
Yep.
Yeah. Excited for it. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being here with us.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. And yeah, we'll discuss episode 3 and 4. So we'll have plenty of notes and lots of things to talk about. Meg will have plenty of things to be upset about. And
And everything.
yeah,
You're not wrong.
we'll give her solo episode.
We just can't give them all the praise. We got
Yeah.
little. They can't get too,
If I don't
What I bring to Beauty and the Beast.
exactly.
Yeah. If I don't see some scavenging, scavenging happen by the end of episode 4, I'm going to be a little upset.
Three.
3?
We're gonna
Okay.
do 3.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we'll see, because I think 3 is primarily going to take part at, the location of Bill.
So Bill might be able to. Bill scavenges.
I know, but I'm just saying they might focus more on storyline.
Okay, look at that storyline.
All right, everybody.
With me, okay.
Oh, goodness. All right, everyone. You guys have a good night. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Yes, come join us. Come hang out. We'll let you know, obviously, way ahead of time what day it's going to be. And we'll see you here live on Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.